Hello, I'm the Media Wiz, because one art form wasn't enough, and welcome back to another episode of... Today we're going to be looking at fan content, which includes blog posts, websites, videos, animations, fan arts, you name it. Sky's the limit. First, we're going to be starting with Epic Rap Battle of History's episode, Doctor Who vs. Doc Brown. For the show's second season, the crew pitted the famous Time Lord against the time-traveling mad scientist from Hill Valley, Doc Brown from Back to the Future.
Doc Brown!
Ooh, actually, if you don't mind, it's just the Doctor. Doesn't even really matter who. Who am I even talking to? Oh, yes, you!
Doctor, I know you're eccentric and all, but what, do you have ADHD or something? Oh, look, a butterfly.
Calm down, will you? Everything is going to be fine. You're not gonna tear any wonky holes in any fabric of space and time. Actually, it's a lot more like a rug, really.
It's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
With all that said, the Doctor's first verse is pretty good, especially the little fabric of space and time reference from the show. Also, it's something when the guy who's playing a British character isn't even British and still does a decent impression.
God, you're great! Not. Despite all your companions, you couldn't be having less sex.
I think it's mainly because they never really explored any kind of shipping until the New Who started. Then the shippers set sail.
What's lame, are your fans or your special effects?
Considering some of the special effects I've looked at during these videos, I mean, Doctor Who has had some pretty laughable effects throughout history, but damn, this is pretty bad. I'm just gonna answer that question for you now, Doc. It's the special effects.
You don't get another turn to debate. Time to face your permanent fate. Now, Dalek my balls!
Okay, first, Dalek my balls, that's a good line. Secondly, wow, this took a dark turn for Doc Brown. I mean, wow, Doc just attempted murder there. I mean, I know it didn't work, but still, that's attempted murder. I mean, this is something I expect Rick from Rick and Morty to do, but not Doc Brown. And yeah, I know, Rick and Morty is technically a parody of Back to the Future, I get it. So yeah, the Doctor is shot down by the Dalek, and of course he regenerates from the 10th Doctor to the 4th Doctor. That makes like no sense. I understand why they did it. I mean, the 10th Doctor was the most popular at the time, and the 4th Doctor is one of the most popular of all time, so I get why they did it. So now the 4th Doctor is here, played by Gwatsky, who also played Shakespeare and Edgar Allan Poe on ERB. And considering how good his flow is in those battles, naturally he kills his verse.
Medical talk at the pinnacle shifting my physical form. You're a possibly pedophilic individual who should have never been born. You got your niggas in a twist where you're sucking on my Piccadilly, but I'm a lot different.
Also, the segue they used to bring in Marty is pretty funny.
You're a pitiful hillbilly hanging with an edible kid who's a buck chicken.
Nobody calls me chicken.
This is between us, Scarfy. Don't try to outrhyme me. You'll find I'm as grimy as any slimy time limey. I'll use your porta-potty time machine as my latrine. You're not a cat with 9 lives. You're a pussy with 13.
Okay, the verse itself was just kind of okay, but that finisher, that was pretty good.
Oh, Lord! Who's next? You decide!
So that was Doctor Who versus Doc Brown, and... Is the battle starting over?
Doc Brown versus Doctor Who!
Ooh, actually, if you don't mind, it's just the Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor. So that was Doctor Who versus Doc Brown, and it's still pretty good. Naturally, the production from ERB is impressive as always, with the costumes, the backgrounds, the audio, everything on that front is very good. One thing that I kinda wish they did was make this a 3-verse battle, you know, kinda like what they did with Muhammad Ali versus Michael Jordan or Ash Ketchum versus Charles Darwin. I don't know, maybe it's just me. As for who I thought won, I'd say the Doctor, mainly because of the 4th Doctor's flow, and I felt that that had better disses. As for Doc Brown's verses, the lyrics were just kinda okay, but I will say his finishing line was definitely the strongest. Next up, we have another rap battle, this time from Epic Fan-Made Rap Battles, Doctor Who versus Bill and Ted. Okay, so the effects in this battle vary. People say that a lot about these fan-made rap battle channels, and usually I let them slide, but sometimes in this battle, the green screens can be pretty wonky.
Saving millions on plan, at least if you think that you're funny.
Great Scott! I didn't even notice these two standing in line!
Secondly, sometimes with the lyrics, they really stretch to get rhymes. Hell, sometimes I don't even think they attempt to rhyme.
Bugs right now, call me a dog. Eating these drug-using drugs is completely fantastic.
Well, it's bad loads, and you're still a virgin. And your voice is twice irritated and you're a Chargers fan.
What makes this even sweeter win? Shout me dodgers. What should I get my screwdriver to destroy these
Not the bed, you're going through puberty fast.
This is like you kidnapping the bride, except even more awkward. Do you know who I like more than
We'll take what's left of your body and make you dust in the wind. Pistons up your ass and mix it with custard. Think you're all clever? We don't want to make a fuss, but...
And some of the lyrics are just kinda lame.
Leave the window, so fly away in your poo machine.
I'd like to hear about you. Oh, you're both potheads. You probably couldn't see me being high.
Also, maybe it's just me, but the way this battle is formatted with all the different opponents, it gets kind of clunky and confusing after a while. In a lot of ways, it's almost like this battle keeps hitting the same problems that hit a bunch of other rap battle royales. If you don't know what I mean by a rap battle royale, I mean whenever you have multiple players show up, not just the two titular characters rapping it out. Once Epic Rap Battles of History did it with Rasputin versus Stalin, it became very hip to do. So in this battle we have the Doctors, Bill and Ted, then we get Doc and Marty from Back to the Future, and then H.G. Wells, and then the battle ends with the Who Won Who's Next thing. We then get all the old Who doctors showing up and rapping against everybody. Usually in a rap battle royale, the two opponents would have probably 2, maybe 3 verses each, and then each newcomer would get maybe 1 verse, or 2 if they're lucky. Here's how the battle is laid out. Doctor, Bill and Ted, Doctor, then Doc and Marty, the Doctor, Bill and Ted, Doc and Marty again, the Doctor, H.G. Wells, old Doctor, and then it ends. As much as I'm critiquing it though, it's not all bad. A lot of these old ERB parody channels admit to not liking their older stuff, and I can certainly relate. And a lot of these channels have gone on to improve their craft. And for what it's worth, this does have some pretty good lines in the battle.
The masses about to storm on me. I'm spit bird harder than a crack in a galaxy.
You only had 13 episodes cause you didn't want the fame.
Go watch Biodome and angle one of your movies.
This is acting like retarded kids and actually reach up to my level. The reason lost is cause I'm a Time Lord and this is time travel.
And if you're curious, they eventually made another, much better Doctor Who rap battle with their Uberosity channel. As much as I'm not really familiar with Homestuck, I still think it's a very enjoyable battle. As for the Doctor versus Bill and Ted, it's flawed, but I still came away enjoying it. While we're on the crossover craze, let's look at Doctor Who Meet Bill and Ted. This crossover skit was made during the hype of the 11th Doctor. It begins with the two phone booths crashing into each other and landing in the Stone Age.
Who's that? Don't you recognize him? It's Conan O'Brien, dude.
It was kind of funny.
We're all stuck here at the dawn of time because something's corrupted the temporal matrix.
Do you understand any of that?
Something about shrimp tempura and the Matrix, whatever that is.
Oh, get it? Keanu Reeves' character makes a joke about the Matrix. I get it.
Clever.
So the reason that our heroes landed in prehistoric time is because the Daleks are trying to set up shop during the dawn of humanity so that they would evolve to be the superior species. After Bill and Ted mistake them for
Rock'em Sock'em bumper cars! Wow. Alright! Woohoo! Get off!
The Daleks are then promptly taken out by the DeLorean.
Hey, this isn't Hill Valley. How did we get here, Doc?
Ah, there must be something wrong with the dashboard controls. Let's get back to the future!
Now all that's left is to take out the Daleks' main power source.
The energy is causing me to degenerate through my previous incarnations.
Hey, what's happening, Mr. Peabody?
Quiet, you.
Okay, you get points for making a Peabody and Sherman reference. And we end with everybody taking everyone else's time machines.
So this thing doesn't even have a flux capacitor. Whoa, whoops!
Hey, that old dude just stole our ride.
Upgrade? Upgrade! I could get used to this.
All in all, this was pretty funny. This was definitely released at a simpler time for YouTube animation, back before YouTube animations became, well, unappreciated by YouTube, and yet these continue to flood all over the main pages, but I digress. In actuality, this is probably the closest thing we'll ever get to a Doctor Who Bill and Ted crossover, and for what it's worth, I liked it. And I've got one more crossover for you, Wholock. Using some really impressive editing manipulation tricks, Wholock portrays BBC's Sherlock meeting the Doctor. Really, I just recommend you just stop and watch the video yourself. But if you want to see some clips, here's a few.
I'm the Doctor.
Hello again.
Come on, let's unite!
Next up, we have a requested subject, a fanfic called My Madman with a Box. Now, sadly, I wasn't able to finish this story at the time of this review, so these are some brief thoughts on what I was able to read. Written by X Phoenix X Angel X, this story is about the 17-year-old daughter of Amy, who's been dreaming about meeting the Doctor for a very long time. Eventually, the Doctor shows up, and they quickly become friends. Soon enough, she learns that she's part Time Lord, and they eventually fall in love. And considering how close Amy and the Doctor were...
Well, if I can't hit you, I'll hit your spawn.
As for grammar, I caught one or two mistakes in the few chapters that I did read, and I give the author credit, she actually does put a disclaimer in the first chapter that she caught all of her spelling errors, something that Hamo Hamster never did. As for the story, it's fine, not really my type of thing, but it's good, especially considering some of the other way worse romance fictions I've reviewed, but it's passable. It's a bit long with 31 chapters, but if you're able to find it, I'd say give it a shot. Not a great fanfic, but I have certainly sat through way, way worse. So like I did with MLP reviewers and Ed Netty reviews, here are just a couple of my favorite Doctor Who themed reviewers. Mr. TARDIS, SF Debris, some of Linkara's Doctor Who reviews, Phalus's top 10 8th Doctor moments, Nash, Welshie, the Blockbuster Busters 11 Doctors retrospective, He Who Moans, 5 Who fans, and a Council of Geeks. Originally, I was going to have one more episode of Doctor Who Wednesdays for next week that was going to be the finale. But the reason I'm not going to do it is because, well... My original finale plan was going to be a review of Doctor Who Live: The Monsters Are Coming, an auditorium televised live show. It was released in 2010, stars the 11th Doctor, and was about the traditional villains of the show like Daleks and Cybermen invading Earth. All the while the audience gets to kick back and watch. The reason I can't review it is because as hard as I've looked, I cannot find the special in full. However, if I do come across footage of it sometime in the future, I promise I will eventually do a review of it. Emphasis on eventually. Till then, this is the end of Doctor Who Wednesdays. I'm going to take a little bit of a break because it's the end of summer and I want to get a little bit of some time into myself, but I will continue to do Media Wiz in September when it starts up. But until then, I am the Media Wiz because one art form wasn't enough.